The day is December 8th, and the world as a whole is still garbage. But this day is different, because the universe woke up with a raging cheap alcohol hangover and has decided it's going to take it all out on you. So now, for no apparent reason, your car won't start. You step out, curse the sky because that's where God lives, until it hits you. This has nothing to do with God, because the small transparent sticker on the corner of your windshield had forgotten to remind you that it's been over 20,000 miles since your last oil change, making the oil inside your engine the same consistency as a brick. Now, instead of taking full responsibility for your mistakes, you take all the knowledge that you've collected from binge watching Pawn Stars and you call in your expert, because you have an expert that knows everything about cars, or at least that's what he says, because in reality, the only thing you've ever seen him change is a pair of windshield wipers. But since you're all out of friends and no one else really likes you, you give him a call. 5 minutes into the whole conversation, him, both suddenly realize that he knows nothing about cars. And now he knows that you know that he knows nothing. So not to make him feel butthurt, he tries to give you extremely vague instructions like, so what you want to do is pop the hood and check the dipstick for oil. Is there oil? Okay, good. That means it has oil. And if there's any oil in the ground, then there's probably a leak. And if it doesn't start, then, there's probably a problem with the engine. And then he gives up. Takes all the knowledge that he's collected from binge watching Pawn Stars and recommends that you call in his expert. And since being rational and calling in a real mechanic isn't an option, you continue down the vicious cycle of what got you into this mess into the first place and call in your expert's expert, and this is what you get. The number to your local Domino's, where it turns out your expert's expert works part-time. And since you consider yourself an adventurous person, you say, fuck it, the phone's already ringing, you're already late, he says you'll be here in 30 minutes or it's free, immediately hanging up, which is strange. Strange when you keep in mind, he never asked for your address. Domino's knows. And now you're sitting on the sidewalk emotionless, scrolling through your phone to coddle your first world agony until you hear him roll up. He's driving a piece of shit car, but you can't really judge him because at least his piece of shit still runs. You look at your watch to see how long it's been. Then you remember, you can't read a watch. So you check your phone. 27 minutes? Impressive. And since nothing could possibly go wrong at this point, you hand him the keys of the car and he starts inspecting. It's been a whole 5 minutes into the conversation. Him, both suddenly realize that he knows nothing about cars. In fact, his only successful mechanical experience was helping your expert, Carson, install windshield wipers. And now you're late to work, car won't start, and this pizza boy's probably just making it all worse. And now you should probably start thinking of an excuse to tell your parents of why you're moving back in until the pizza boy comes over. He tells you he's got a mechanic friend who specializes, and you guessed it, cars. And since you're incapable at this point of feeling any other emotion other than rage, you just go with it. Until it comes. The middle school locker smell of cheap TJ Maxx cologne and watermelon vape. Dear God, it's a mechanic. But it turns out that this mechanic is no other mechanic than your expert, Carson.